Today, we are going to go over how to set up your Top Producer X coming from your tried and true Top Producer 8i. So glad for you guys to join me here. We've got about 11 people in here. I'm your host, Dan Salcedo. I'm the training specialist here in customer care. Joining me on chat is Marvin LaRosa. He is one of our resolution research MLS support person. He's got a lot of hats that he has to wear, and he helps us out with everything pretty much. And we're all in good hands here. He's gonna make sure he's gonna monitor the chat for any questions and answer them, and he'll also be sharing some useful links as we go along. So for today's topic, we're gonna help you get your TPX going from your 8i, and it's 4 easy steps. First thing, we want to make sure your contacts are there, right? And if you haven't already seen it yet, your contacts are in there already. So the first steps, we've already got you started. The second step is I'm going to show you guys how to import all your transactions, your historical transactions with just one click. Next, we're going to go through all the settings. And if you want, this webinar is recorded. So, you can follow along as we go through each settings. Or if you want, you can just watch the recording later and just pick off the ones that you want to follow along with as I go through them. And then lastly, I'm going to show you how to refresh your marketing templates and action plans from 8i into TPX. Spoiler alert, if you didn't already know, none of your 8i templates or your action plans could be transferred over into TPX automatically. So you have to do it manually, unfortunately. But this is why we're here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to put it side by side on my screen, and I'm going to show you how to move those over or copy them over. So hopefully that will help as you go through your templates that you want. And, it sounds like a lot of work, like, oh, not all of the templates and action plans in 8i are going to be in my TPX, but use this as an opportunity to take a good look, take a second look at your templates and action plans and refresh it for 2023 and beyond, right? So moving right along here. So the first thing is your contacts. Your contacts are already there. They share the same database between Top Producer X and 8i. So when you add a contact in 8i or a TPX, it'll show up on the other side. If you change their name, change their email address, add a phone number, all those modifications, it will update it on both. And same thing with deleting contacts. So if you delete a contact on one side, it'll also delete it on the other side. We don't want you to be discouraged going back to 8i. If you want to use both, you are more than happy, more than welcome, and we'll be happy to help you use both. So just so you know, we were not trying to push you guys away from your reliable 8i. This is just meant for you guys to get your TPX set up so that you can start using some of the uses, some of the functionality in TPX. For example, the automated lead response plan. That one's been such a big hit for our customers that get leads online. So whether that's from your own website, maybe you're part of a brokerage and you have a lead capture form on your website that sends you an email automatically with all the lead information in it, or maybe you get leads from a lead provider like Zillow or Realtor.com or Trulia or whoever they may be. Anytime you get an online lead, not only can you send it to your top producer automatically, what we mean here by automated lead response is we're going to help you respond to that lead, not just for that initial message, but beyond. So it's not like the ones that you get with your lead provider. Zillow also has a lead provider automated lead response too, or Realtor.com also has something like it too. But what's unique with ours is it keeps going. You can customize even that lead response. So they're not just going to get that initial lead response, but you can set it so that an hour later you can text them again, an hour or maybe 8 hours later you can email them again. And then you can set yourself a reminder to call them at a specific time even, right? Maybe you don't want it to remind you an hour later, because maybe that lead came in at like midnight, right? You don't want to have a reminder to call them at 1 a.m., right? If they came in at midnight. So you can actually set your task as part of this automated lead response plan for a specific time in the day. So as you guys probably know, the best time to do call outs is during the evening hours, right? Like that dinner time from 4 to 7. So you can even set your call reminders to tell you to call them between that time or a specific time even. So that's one really cool feature of TPX that I'm not sure everyone is aware of, especially coming from 8i, that a lot of people have been, at least moving some of their work into TPX because of that specific plan, especially if you have online leads. The other things that you can do too are email tracking. So being able to see if someone's opened your email. Unfortunately, you can't do that in 8i, but you can do it in TPX. And the ability to text, at least for our US customers. And it's not available yet for our Canadian customers. No ETA on that, unfortunately, but you can text your clients if you are in the USA. So that's been a big hit as well. And you can set up your calendar and your contact sync. So you don't miss that new lead. You don't miss that next appointment. You can sync it to your phone so that TPX works for you. All of these features are exclusive to TPX. And there's so much more. And if you guys stick around all the way to the end, we got 17 people here. Great. Thank you guys for your attention. If you guys stick around all the way to the end of this show, we've got about an hour slotted here. I've got a little bit of an Easter egg for everybody here that I think you guys will be excited about. So I know I'm hyping it up, but hopefully it'll be worth it at the end here when I show you what I mean. So moving along here. The second step to making sure you're set up on TPX from 8i, now that you know that your contacts are already there, the second step is to import all your transactions. So in TPX, I'm going to show you a live demo right now of how to do this. And if you don't know how to get into your TPX, there's two ways to do it. You can go to it directly by going to crm.topproducer.com. And then the other way is if you're already in your 8i, I'll show you how to do that. You can get into TPX from your 8i. Just click on this TPX button at the top. So let me just zoom in a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. So yeah, just click on that TPX button at the top of your 8i menu dashboard here, and it'll take you to your TPX. If you want to go back and forth, let's say you're done, maybe you need to print labels and you can't do that in TPX, right? And you want to go back to your 8i to print some labels, you can go back to your 8i, just look for your avatar or your picture icon on the top right corner of your TPX. And on the menu that appears, just select the one that says go to TP8i. So you can switch back and forth very conveniently that way. Cool. So now I'm going to show you how to import all your transactions, all your listings and closings from 8i into TPX. The first step is you need to go to transactions area in your TPX. So on the left-hand side is your main navigation menu. So you just click on transactions on the very left side. And there's this big button here at the top right that says import 8i closings. It's right beside the blue add transaction button at the top right. So the next step here is to click on import 8i closings. And just so you guys know, it'll only import close and paid closings in your 8i. So what that means is if you're in 8i and you have like, let's say you got like pending closings or, you know, active closings in 8i, those won't import into TPX. The reason why is they're built differently, and we don't really want to interrupt your work, right? You know what you're doing in 8i, and you haven't closed that deal yet, so you don't really want to have to learn a new program while you're finishing that deal, right? So we want you to stay in 8i, finish up that transaction, make sure it's closed, make sure you get your money, right? And once you're done and it's all closed up, you can hit it again. You can go into TPX and click on that button again and click on import, and that's it. Just one button to bring over all your closed transactions in TPX, right? Eventually, all your transactions will be in TPX once it's all closed, right? And it's really easy to add your transaction in. Let's say you got a brand new listing. You just click on add transaction on the top right corner. You don't have to add it manually. You can just click on import from MLS at the top left. Make sure you have your board selected. And then you probably have the listing ID already. So you put that in. If you don't remember what the listing ID is, but you remember the address, you can also do it that way, right? And it'll try to look up that address automatically for you. Let me just see here. I'm in Vancouver here in BC, Canada. Simon. 835. All right. Maybe I don't have an address, but yeah, it'll pull it up by the address. But as you can see there, it's less it's a little bit more difficult. If you have the listing ID, that's faster, right? You just pull it up in your MLS and pop it in here, and then hit search, and then it'll give you that. So actually, I'm just gonna actually pull up a random listing online here, see, just so I can show you how that all works. So I grabbed the listing ID here. Let's just pretend this is my listing, right? I want to manage it in my TPX, just like how I've been managing my transactions in 8i. You just put in the listing ID, you hit search, and it's going to automatically pull in the picture from your MLS, all the information about that listing from your MLS, and then you can keep going with the rest of the steps here. So it looks like Marvin has also shared a link on how to go through the whole transactions area in TPX. So that is definitely useful for this particular part here. But yeah, very easy to bring over all your transactions in from 8i into TPX. Just that one button there. You just click on it, import 8i closings, and that's it. And if you have more later, you can keep clicking it. It's not going to duplicate. It's not going to do anything like that. One thing to note, it's not like a dual sync. So it's just creating a copy into TPX. What that means is if you change something on like this listing here, for example, like the address is wrong or something, if you change it in here, it's not going to update it in 8i. They don't sync together as far as the transaction goes, because they're in the back end, the way it's coded on the programming side, they're just built a little bit differently. We just made it convenient for you to start using TPX for those transactions here. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the next step, the third step out of 4, is we're going to go through all your settings. So the most important part of your settings is making sure your MLS is connected, obviously, and your email is connected, obviously, right? So let's go through those 2 settings at least. And like I said earlier, you can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/topproducersoftware. If you want to go back, because I might go a little fast going through these settings, because we don't have a lot of time here. So not to worry if I'm going too fast. You can go to YouTube, watch this recording again, pause, rewind, go at your own pace. Okay, so want to make sure you guys are comfortable there. And you can go through this at your own pace. All right, so let's go ahead and go back into my TPX here. On the bottom left corner, we're going to click on settings. And these are all your settings tabs on the left-hand side. And the first thing we're going to choose is the one that says MLS credentials. So it's like the 4th from the bottom, if you're following along. And then from here, you just click on the button on the top right corner that says add MLS credentials. You know, put in the name of your board. For example, like Bright MLS is a popular one, or Arizona Regional MLS is another one. Depending on which board you have, it might just ask you for your ID. Some boards ask you to put in your ID and password. So it just will depend on your board. CR MLS, California, that's another popular one. Real MLS, Florida Keys, you know, all sorts of MLS here. We've pretty much got like every listings covered in the US. So if your board isn't here, you know, that would be pretty rare. So yeah, once you put in the MLS credentials, what it's going to unlock for you is our market snapshot feature, which you can send out you know, by monthly market trend reports. So that's really good for prospecting. That's really good for your existing clients, making sure that they're abreast of all the different changes or market updates. And also good for your past clients, right? A little bit of a soft post-sale touch. You can send them like a yearly market snapshot, you know, so they don't forget about you. And when they're ready to sell again, they'll remember you because you've been sending them market snapshot. So definitely important to set up MLS credentials for that feature market snapshot, which I'm going to just quickly show you guys what it looks like. So it's very cool. You know, tell you the average asking price, and it's all custom, right? And they can even change it themselves if they wanted to. Sorry, this is just a sample, so it's not going to work, but yeah, they can customize the report. If let's say they don't want it 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, they can customize it themselves. So yeah, set up your MLS credentials. That's one important part of the settings. The next important part is email integration. So with emails in TPX, it's a little bit differently from 8i. When we send out an email from your TPX, we're actually sending it directly from your email account, whichever you connect. So for example, here I have a Google account, a Gmail account. It's going to look like it's coming from my Gmail account. And you can even see it in your sent items folder on your Google account. Like let's say you have Gmail connect the same Gmail account connected on your phone. You can see that email you sent from TPX on your sent items on your phone. So you never miss out any email communication. Versus 8i, the difference between TPX and 8i when it comes to sending an email is in 8i, we use an older type of technology, what we call it email spoofing, where it looks like it's coming from your Gmail, but it's actually not. It's coming from a TPX email, a top producer 8i email server. Which is more, unfortunately, more vulnerable to like anti-spam like filters, right? Because we're masking it. We're masking the source. The source is coming from top producer 8i, but we're masking it with your real email address, your Gmail email address. So it's more susceptible to spam filters when you send out an email from 8i, especially when you're doing like mass emails and so on. So we know that's been an issue with 8i emails where it's going to spam and stuff like that. We've solved for that with TPX. Instead of having to use that older technology where we're masking our email because we're sending it ourselves, instead of doing that, we connect directly to your email account and we're sending it from your email account. We're just using TPX as like the surface to type up the email, right? But it's actually coming from your Gmail account or your iCloud account if you use an Apple email, or Outlook account if you're using Outlook, or whatever it may be. We've got tons of different options in here. So if it doesn't work for you, just let us know and we'll work it out with you. Just hit the chat button on the bottom right corner. It's gonna ask you for a couple of little details, and then you'll be talking to a real person. Our usual response time is within a minute. So you'll get an answer pretty much right away while you're working. So we don't want you to get frustrated with anything when you're using TPX, especially as an 8i user. I know it's a little bit difficult to go through that change, right? We're gonna be right there holding your hand. If you need us, just hit the chat button and we'll walk through any issues that you have with your Top Producer X version. So yeah, those are the 2 settings that I wanted to make sure that we take care of, because I know, you know, some people might have to go anytime now, right? You know, when a lead calls, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Moving on here, the next settings is, I'm gonna just go from the top to bottom, just so you guys know. Moving on is my information. So definitely a good idea to make sure your picture is updated, your logo is updated. By the way, your picture that you put in here is gonna go up here on the top right corner. So it's easier for you to, you know, identify where your menu button is. You just click on your picture there and it'll give you a menu. Make sure your address is correct, your phone number, your website, etc., and so on, including your website. The more you put in here, the better it is, because we use merge codes as well in Top Producer X, similar to what we use in 8i for. If anyone doesn't know what a merge code is, it basically means that when you're creating like an email template and you want it to automatically show your name or your company name or your phone number, without having to always type it in, you can use that merge code, and it'll pull up that field here for that merge code and automatically put it in. So as you can see here, my company name is very long, right? I don't want to have to keep typing that in all the time whenever I'm creating my marketing emails and all my text messages and all that stuff. I can just use this merge code when I'm creating that template. So yeah, fill in as much as you can in your My Information page. And when you're done, just go to the bottom right corner and click on the Save My Information button. Next tab is Calendar Sync. So what this will let you do is basically sync your appointments on your phone with the calendar on your Top Producer X. And it's a dual sync. So whenever you add or reschedule or maybe even cancel an appointment, it doesn't matter whether you're doing it on your phone or in Top Producer X, it will sync it both ways. So it's really cool. And it's really easy to do. I'm just going to delete this one here that's on my screen here and show you guys step by step. Okay, so first thing is you're going to put in the same email account that you have connected on your phone for your calendar. So if you're an iPhone user, you probably have an iCloud account. If you're an Android or like a Samsung or Google phone user, it's probably going to be a Google account, right? Once you find out what that email is for your calendar on your phone, you put it in here, you click on Authorize. Depending on who your provider is, it might ask you to sign in, and it's also going to ask you to give Top Producer permission to access that data that you want it to sync with. I'm not sure what my password is. Let's see. Actually, let's use this one. I'll sign in using a different one here. Oh. Using a different email. Okay, there we go. Authorize. Okay, so once you've given it the proper permission, it's gonna give you an option. If you have more than one calendar, it says to select your calendar, right? If you don't see any option to select a calendar, that means you only have one in that account. So there's nothing to select, right? But some people, they have like a work calendar, like a personal calendar. Maybe they're, sharing some calendar with their coworkers, stuff like that. So it actually allows you to select from a drop down which calendar you want to sync with in that account. In my case here, I only have one calendar, so there's no option to select. And so I'm just going to hit Start Sync. So that initial sync, it could take a few seconds. It could take, like, see, mine says already running. It could take a couple minutes, a couple hours. On the rare occasion, if you have a lot of appointments, let's say you use the same calendar account for like years and years and years, that initial sync might take more than a couple days. So if it's not running yet, like it'll say something like needs reauthorization or something like that, and you've just set it up, don't worry. It's still going through the initial sync. Give it a couple of days. If it's still not working, no problem. Just click on the chat button and we'll troubleshoot that with you. Question from Carol on the chat. Do we use the email for our phones such as iCloud, or do we use our company email? Depending on you, Carol, what what calendar do you want to sync with your top producer? That's the question, right? So depending on what you need to use the TPX for, which calendar you need to make sure is always on your phone, connect to that account. So we could probably discuss that yeah, it can only sync with one, unfortunately. That's a good, thank you for bringing that up. We can only sync the calendar to one account. So you'll have to make that decision which one to sync with your top producer X. No problem. If you want to discuss that more, just definitely let us know in the chat, and maybe we can find another solution. Well, we love to find workarounds for you guys if there's any possibility. All right, so moving on to the next settings is the contact sync. Very similar steps to the calendar sync. I'm just not going to go through it because just want to save some time here for our 1 hour. We're already at 30-minute mark here. You just click on here. Let me just delete this here. Yeah, so you just put in your email account, whatever your phone is connected to as far as your contacts app is on your phone. What's the default account on your phone? Whatever account that is, you can sync it here in your top producer X. Again, it'll only sync to one account. So you got to decide where your contacts are and sync with that one. And then you just follow the prompts, make sure you give it all the permissions that it needs. And then you're good to go. Just like calendar sync, it could take a minute, could take a couple hours, but if you have a lot of contacts, and maybe this not a lot of contacts, but if you have a lot of data in each contact, right? Maybe you have only like 100, but each contact has like 5 emails and 5 phone numbers, right? Just that initial sync might take a little longer than usual. And then once it's all kind of matched together, as you use it day to day, the sync is pretty much, I can't say instantaneously, but it'll sync it as quick as it can. It just depends on like your email account that we're connected with in our server, like how quick they can respond to each other, but it's almost instantaneously is what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, same steps as calendar and contact sync. You just put in your email, hit authorize, give it all the permissions that it needs, and that's it. Next is importing contacts. So just like in 8i, you can import your contacts from a CSV file. It's the same steps if you've ever imported contacts into your 8i. So there's nothing new there. So you select your file from your computer, for example. And then you just play the matching game. So on my CSV file, I've got like this given name column. These are some of the examples from my CSV file. And I just need to match it with whatever top producer uses. So in top producer, we don't have a field called given name, but we have a field called first name. So I just need to make sure each column that I want to import is matched to the correct field in top producer X. And you'll notice top producer X will try to guess what you're trying to match, and it'll automatically put that in, right? So surname here, top producer automatically saw that, oh, surname means last name. So ours is not called surname, but ours is called last name. So we automatically match it for you. Just be careful with that. You still want to double check that it is doing it correctly. And then if it's not right, you just got to fix it, right? So like let's say this telephone number here, it matched to mobile number. Maybe it's not mobile numbers. These are all their home phones, right? So you can just change that from the drop down, and then it'll match it to whatever you wanted to put in. If you don't need to import a specific column, right? Let's say you don't need their phone numbers for whatever reason, just select not mapped and it'll ignore that column from your spreadsheet. If you have a column that you really want to import into top producer, but we don't have a matching option, right? Just pretend this column here, it doesn't say telephone number, pretend it says like favorite restaurants or something like that, right? and you want to import, each contact's favorite restaurants that you've been tracking for years and years. If you want to force it into Top Producer X, you can map it to the one that says add to contact notes. So you don't have to worry about, not being able to import certain things. Use the contact notes as like the catch-all. If you really want to make sure that, whatever data is in that column is imported from your CSV file. And I believe, yes, Marvin has, I'm sure, posted, I can't see it, importing contacts. If he hasn't posted it yet, he will post a link on going through the step-by-step again, if you guys want to dive into that a little bit deeper. But yeah, hit the chat button if you want a one-on-one support on that one. Okay, we already did email integration, so we're going to skip over to email signatures. You're going to want to set up your email signature, of course, if you set up your email integration. That way, there's always a little signature at the bottom of every email that you send out. So it should be pretty simple. You just click on the pen icon, plug it in, and this is where I mean like using the merge codes, right? So for example, here you can see this website. It's very long, right? If I manually type this in, I'll probably make a typo, right? So instead of having to manually type something in, I'm just gonna wipe everything here. I want to automatically put in my website, for example. So in 8i, it's called insert merge code, right? But in TPX, you're going to look for this button. It looks like brackets, like squiggly brackets. And when you hover over it, it'll say template. So when you click on that, it'll give you different options for the merge code options available. And then you just select which one you want to put in there. So in this example, I'm going to select agent website. There we go. I don't have to manually type it in. It'll just plug it in for me. And when you're happy with your signature, just hit save new signature, and that's it. I'm just going to pause here quickly. I see some questions coming up. Anita, does TPX support AOL email? Anita, depending on what your AOL offers, like if it has an AOL calendar, AOL contacts, AOL email integration, it may. The key part here is IMAP provider, right? So let me see if we even have AOL listed in here. Like if it's IMAP or Microsoft Exchange, my recommendation to Anita is to try it. If it doesn't work, just hit the chat button and we'll figure it out with you. In most cases, we can make things work, but not sure exactly with AOL. Yeah, so as Marvin said, you might have to provide additional info like the IMAP server details. So that's super technical, right? So you might have to, chat with us to kind of figure out how to find that information. All right, next tab here is the lead providers tab. So for those of you that are getting online leads, all you have to do to make sure your leads are going into your TPX is redirecting those email, like your new lead email notification that you normally get in your regular email, redirect those to this special email address that we've given you. It's a unique email address for your specific login. Plug this in to, whoever your lead provider is, let's say Realtor.com, right? Go to your Realtor.com lead settings, for example, and where it says, hey, where do you want to notify of, any new leads? Send it to this email address. And that way we can read that email and create a contact record into your TPX for you. In a lot of lead provider settings, you can probably send it to both too. So if you wanted to also go to your email, you can do that. And soon you don't have to do that. We're going to actually create new lead alerts into TPX. So even if you're just sending it to this email address, you don't have to send it to your other email account. We'll actually send you a new lead email alert. I don't know when that will come, but from what I'm hearing, it's somewhere in this, in the next few months. So hopefully that's a safe enough estimate. but yeah, this is how you send your leads into Top Producer X automatically with this email address. Definitely try it out, or let us know if it's not working for you. Once you set it up, it should work right away. As soon as you get your next lead, you should know if it's going into your TPX or not. The next tab is for the market snapshot feature. So if your MLS is compatible and you've got market snapshot set up, this is if you wanted to change some of the parameters for your market snapshot. For example, let's say you deal with a lot of buyers and they're calling you and saying, hey, Dan, I really like these market snapshots that you're sending me, but I don't really like seeing the sold listings on it because it just means I missed out on them, right? I'm looking to buy a house and not, dwell on the ones that I missed out on, right? So if you're getting a lot of that feedback from your buyers, for example, right, you can go into your market snapshot settings in here and just turn it off so you don't get that kind of feedback. You don't want to send them sold listings, for example, for your buyers. So there's all sorts of settings in here. For like 99% of our customers, the default settings is perfect, is optimized, right? So you don't really actually need to do anything in here. Once you get more comfortable and more familiar with using your market snapshot and you know exactly how it works and you want to kind of tweak things in here, you can do that. And if you need help kind of figuring out what each one means, again, just chat with us and we'll talk you through it. All right, next tab is team management. So if you are part of a team, this is where you can add your team members in. This is where you can put their name in, create their usernames for them, and you can even set their permissions. So if, let's say, if this is an assistant or something like that, right? A brand new assistant, and you don't want them to accidentally delete your contacts, you can change your permission in here and just turn it off for now. Same thing with like export. Maybe you have an agent under your brokerage that you don't want to accidentally take a copy of your contacts. You can just turn off the export option as well. Same thing with accessing data. If you don't want them to see other people's contacts, let's say you're working in a team and you just want everyone to see just the contacts they're assigned to, not anybody else's, you can turn that off as well. So this is all under team management. If you don't have more than one license and you have, at least another person helping you with your Top Producer X, I definitely recommend you get another license to, make the most out of it, because you can assign contacts to each other. You can assign tasks to each other. You can see each other's calendar all in one place. Jim, question on the market snapshot settings. If you turn off the sold listings to show up on the market snapshot, is that just for the individual? The answer is no. This is a global setting. So this is for all your market snapshot that you're sending out. There's two types of market snapshots. There's the buyer type of market snapshot and a seller type of market snapshot. So if you're sending a buyer one, these are for all your buyer snapshots, not just for one person. Any changes you make here. No problem, Jim. And the next tab is texting. I'm just not going to show you that one because my real phone number in there is in there. But basically, it's just like anytime you've ever set up a texting feature on any program, you just plug in your phone number, you say confirm, it'll send you a text on your phone saying, hey, are you sure you want to set up this texting feature for Top Producer X? You just type in the word confirm and hit reply and send. And then that's it. That's how you set up your texting. So very easy. If you have trouble with that, again, just hit the chat button, but it's super simple. And the last settings tab here is the UI settings. So this one is more for like advanced users. Like if you're already using the program a lot, you can change like the default date range when you're looking at, for example, your task list here. So if you're looking at your custom date range, it's got like this default date range in here. But if you're noticing yourself having to go back and changing this all the time, maybe you look at like a year's worth of tasks all the time, and you don't want to have to keep changing this all the time. You can go into your settings, the UI settings, and change the default date range. So like for here, for example, there's all sorts of other settings, 14 days. So there's all sorts of stuff that you can change here. And then the second part of this UI settings is the contact types. So you can actually change the colors on your contact types. So one feedback that we're getting from 8i users is it looks kind of plain, right? Black, like gray and white, compare it to my very nice colorful TPX, or sorry, 8i, where it's got like this blue color. It looks kind of nice, right? TPX, don't worry, you'll get used to it. It kind of looks plain, but it's actually not. There's actually color into it. So one of the ways we introduce color into TPX is when we want to make it a little bit more useful, the colors, and we want things to pop up using those colors. So for example, I've got all these contact types, right? Let's say buyer here, it's in this default gray. I want to change that color, right? I want to be able to see my buyers like and pop it up off my screen whenever they come up. So I can go to my settings in here, go to my UI settings. And for buyer, instead of this default boring gray, I'm going to change it. So to the right, I'm just click on the pen icon here. And I can select one of those options if I want, or if I want, I can go to this customized color in here and pick the one I like. So let's go with like fuchsia, like this, like a lighter fuchsia. Okay, so save that. So now when I'm on my contacts right away, they're popping up on my screen, right? This buyer here, this buyer here, this buyer here. So that's how we're introducing colors into TPX. Not the whole thing is going to be colored, but certain things will pop up and it'll kind of, you know, make your eye go to it, right? To say, oh, yes, my buyers, I need to talk to them. Another way we've introduced colors is through the follow-up reminders. So as you can see here, I'm looking at my list of engaged let's go with new contacts, right? If I set up my follow-up reminder every day and I haven't followed up with them after, you know, every day, it's going to color code them. So these are overdue basically, right? Maybe I don't want to be reminded every day to follow up with them. Maybe I put it for 30 days. Let's see what happens here. So they're not going to get color coded yet, right? So you can, depending on what threshold you pick, it'll color some of them, it won't color some of them. So that's how we're introducing the colors. Chris, will you, question from Chris, will you add the ability to have a dark theme? I don't know yet. I know that's been asked. So for any feedback that you guys have, you guys are the experts here of using the program. We definitely value your guys's your opinion. You've been with us for years, very loyal to us. So let us know if things like that you want to, you know, put into the system. Just click on this feedback button on the bottom left corner here. Let me try that again. And from here, you can upvote people's feedback, like their suggestions, or maybe you don't like it, you can snooze them if you don't like certain ones. And this is how our product team is better communicating with our customers directly. You don't have to rely on, like, you know, letting the customer care person know what your program suggestion is. Just plug it into here. It goes directly to our product team and they review each one, right? It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to implement each idea that come in, but it gives them a better sense of what people want. And, you know, they can adjust the product roadmap accordingly. So for example, this customer had a really good idea where they want to score their leads on, as far as, like, you know, however they want to rank them. They can rank certain people that are better for them or not, right? So there's already been 62 likes to that one. So if you like it, you just hit the thumbs up as well. If you don't like it, just hit the snooze button. And that's kind of how our feedback system works. So you don't really see that a lot of these times now with programs where they don't give you an outlet to tell the product team what you want and what you don't want. So we believe in making sure we give a lot of that power to you guys as far as, you know, where should our attention be when it comes to new features. So yeah, definitely take advantage of that feedback. Sorry for that long-winded answer, Chris, but yeah, right now there is no dark theme. I'm sure there are like extensions that you can set up on your phone, like if you're using Top Producer on your phone or on your desktop, that you can like force dark theme on. So you might want to look into that. All right, so that is the settings. I think I've gone through all of them. Yep, I did. And now going back to my presentation here, the next part, and we've got about 15 minutes to go through this. The next part here is refreshing your templates and action plans. So like the slide says, unfortunately, your existing 8i templates and action plans are not in TPX, but we want to take this as an opportunity to refresh your marketing, right? If you guys don't know by now, the number one demographic in real estate as far as buyers go are millennials, right? People like me. We're kind of going into that age where you know, we can afford to buy a house. You know, depending on where you are, of course. Here in Vancouver, it's very rare. So expensive here. But anyways, I'm gonna show you guys how to create those templates that you have in 8i into Top Producer X. So for this, I'm actually gonna have 2 screens open. All right, so left side is 8i, right side is TPX. In 8i, if I wanna, for example, recreate my email template, right? So go to marketing and then template library. Same in TPX, very similar steps. Go to marketing on the left side here, and then go to template library at the very top. In TPX, there's only 2 types of templates that you can create, email and texting. So if you need to print letters or labels, don't worry, you can still use your 8i. You can go in there and print your labels for your, like your holiday or whatever, greeting cards or postcards that you do. Still use 8i for that. You're not missing out on anything, right? But if you're trying to use your TPX for like email and texting, you can do that. So let's say I want to recreate this email I have in 8i. Let's see here. I got this one right here. So I got this email, right? I want to recreate it in my TPX. So in my TPX, I can click on add from scratch on the top right corner. I need to give it a name. So in my 8i here, the name here I've got is, let's say that's the name. I just copy it, go to my right side here, paste it. Select the category. So there's all these different options that we have in here. If none of these match, just select other. That's kind of like our catch all here, like a miscellaneous category. And then for the subject line, you just copy pasting it. It's, you know, it's not too bad if you think of it in this way. And it really helps if you have it like how I have it set up, where it's on like on my screen at the same time. So you just like you copy paste it over. You notice it didn't copy over the merge code, right? But you can just do that manually. So go to where you need to go to template, and then just, you know, pick whatever templates that you or merge code that you want to use. It doesn't have like the exact same merge code list as an 8i. So you're gonna just have to play around with it. So let's say I wanted to have the first name, I can just put in the first name right there. And then maybe put a comma. Let's play around with that. There we go. And when you're happy, it looks pretty similar, right? And then you just click on the save. And that's it. So in your TPX, in your template library, I'm just going to expand that here for a second. I've created that template. I called it cold email template. Yeah, there we go. So I put it in this lead conversion category, for example, and then and there it is. So you can start using it, or I put it in other as well. So I've been creating examples here. So you might see a duplicate on my screen. But yeah, that's how you recreate that template into TPX from your 8i. Same thing with the action plan. So if you go to 8i under calendar, you go to plans manager. You've got like your action plan here. Let's say it's this one, Bruno's new lead checklist. In TPX, it's under marketing. Instead of calendar, your action plans are called task plans, and it's going to be under marketing. And it's at the top, right beside the template library tab. The task plan manager is just right there. So it's same thing, similar, but not the same. So in 8i, it's under calendar and then plans manager. In TPX, it's under marketing and it's called task plan manager. So if I wanted to recreate this Bruno's new lead checklist from the TPX task plan manager, I just go to all the way to the top right corner here, and we're going to click on add plan. We're creating this from scratch, so we're not going to set yes to create from template. This is a contact action plan, right? There's different kinds. So lead response is for like your online leads that come in automatically, but this one is not like that. We don't have an automated lead response in 8i. So by default, this is a contact plan type. Transaction is for like your listing plans and your closing plans. So that's a little bit different. But for this one, we're copying over. In this example, we're going to select contact. If you want to give it the same name, I just copy the name from the action plan in 8i and paste it in. And I don't think I have a description in here. No, so you can just leave the description blank and just click save. And now we can add these two tasks in here. So if I go to add task here, this is a call. So I'm going to call it the same cold call. I'm just going to type it in here. You can copy paste it if you want. I just like typing sometimes. So 0 days from start date. So 0 days from start date. And then I can just click save and add another task. And now this one's an email. And I can call it the same intro email. And this one is 1 day from the plan start date. So I can change that. And I need to select the same email, right? So if I go to my 8i here, intro email, I'm going to open that up. It says here the category is this, and then the template is this. Again, we haven't created this template in 8i, right? So what I can do is actually click on edit template in my 8i. And I'm going to backtrack here for a second here. I've only created the cold call task yet, but I need to create the email. But before I create that email in my task plan in TPX, I need to create the template first. So I'm actually going to close that up. I'm going to come back to that task plan. Oops, sorry, my computer is jumping all over the place here. So I'm going to go to marketing, template library, and I'm going to create that intro email in here. So add from scratch, call it the same, intro email, put it into whatever category I want. I'm just going to select other for now. Copy paste the subject, copy paste the body of the email, insert any merge codes that I need, hit save. That's it. So now I've created the template. I can go back to my task plan that I'm creating. And in here, I'm going to go back from my 8i. I'm done with the template. So I'm going to go back to my 8i here, go back to that same plan. And I'm going to recreate this intro email now that I've created the template that it uses, right? So in Talk with User X, the same task plan that I'm recreating, I'm going to click on add task. And this is an email. This one is an intro email. So I'm just going to copy paste it like so. This is 1 day after. And now I need to select that template, right? So I'm going to select, it's called intro email. There we go. If you want to auto send it, you can. On my 8i, just double check if you have the same setting enabled or not. And this is where you can decide, hey, do I still not want to not send it automatically like what I have in here in 8i? Or do I want it to send automatically now that I'm getting a chance to review the same task, right, as part of this task plan? So now I see that I can make a decision. Hey, I'm actually going to change this. I actually want it to send out instead of what I had in 8i before. I'm going to change that now to automatically send. So I'm going to click on save task. And there we go. So I just recreated this same action plan in 8i into Top Producer X. Again, if this went a little fast, that's why we have this webinars recorded. So you can check back later. We're going to send you an email reminder anyways. It's going to come from Zoom. It's going to give you the link to watch this this webinar. If not, if you don't get that email for whatever reason, just go to youtube.com/topproducersoftware, and you can just go back to this portion of the webinar to go through the same steps again. Pause it, rewind it, go at your own pace. Okay, we got 3 minutes left here. I got a couple more slides. I know there's some questions on the chat. I'll come back to those in a second. And then I also have that surprise for you guys for sticking around for so long. So give me just a moment here. Now that you've got your Top Producer X, your contacts are already there. You just imported all your closed transactions if you were following along. We went through all the settings, and then we just went through all your templates that you are going to want to refresh for 2023 and beyond. If you look on the right-hand side here, this is kind of what the texting experience will be like for you and your clients. So this is you, right? You receive that lead, and then 2 minutes later, the automated lead response plan, without you having to do anything, it's automatically texting your new lead. In this case, it's Jessica, and then Jessica replies back. All this texting history will show up in your Top Producer X in that contact record. And then the other feature here, email history. So you can actually see if someone's opening those emails. It'll show you a little green icon if someone opened that email you sent out from your Top Producer X. If it's red, that means I have like the red eye. It doesn't mean, it means that it hasn't been read yet. And then if it's like this blue inbox, that means they replied to your email. So you can see what the reply is. Talked about the feedback already. So if you have any suggestions on how we can better, improve, not just bring over a certain 8i feature, but how can we make it better, right? Thinking of the future and beyond. So if you have any feedback, just hit that feedback button on the bottom left corner. And some frequently asked questions, is there a cost to upgrade to X? If you don't already know, there's no extra cost. You get the same price for 8i and TPX. Do you have to stop using 8i? Nope. You can keep using 8i. We love our 8i. We can keep using it as much as we want. What's not in X that's in 8i, as I kind of mentioned earlier, like print media marketing, like labels, envelopes, stuff like that. It's not in TPX. I don't have like a comprehensive list for you guys, but another one is like the income and expense tracker. That's not in TPX. But again, the good thing is we're not getting rid of 8i. So you can keep using that how you already know how to use it in your 8i. And for all the brand new stuff, you can use TPX for all that brand new stuff. If you need help, you can chat with us from inside the program, that chat bubble on the bottom right corner. If for whatever reason you can't log into your Top Producer, you can go to topproducer.com/campus and then hit the chat button there so we can get you logged in. You can also email support@topproducer.com. Let's say you just need a copy of your invoice, or you just need to send you an article on how to set up the contact sync, for example, or how to import contacts. So if you don't need an immediate response, our email support is usually within 24 hours. And if you want to just do your own self-training, again, topproducer.com/campus. It's actually also where you signed up for this webinar, or at least somebody helped you sign up for this webinar. If you guys like this webinar, let me know. Or if you hated it, let me know too. Just let me know in the chat. I love feedback. But if you want to watch more webinars, they're very interactive, as you guys have experienced here. Our next one coming up, so today is the 10th, right? So we're right here. The next one coming up is on Tuesday, the 14th. That's more of like, it's more for our new customers. So that one's probably not the greatest for you guys as 8i users already. But the Thursday one is probably one that you're going to want to sign up for next. That's where we're going to dive into like, the contact pipeline stage, like when should you put someone in the status of new, status of engaged, status of future, active, close. So all those tips and tricks, we usually talk about those in our Thursday show. So definitely watch that one if I can recommend the next webinar for you to sign up with. Okay, so before we get to questions and answers here, I'm going to show you a little bit of a Easter egg. So let me get things set up in here. All right, so I've been showing you guys our Top Producer X on my desktop, right? And just as of last night, we made a very cool update. We actually launched our mobile version. Da, 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 da. Oh, wait, let me get this. Let's minimize this, minimize that. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can increase the size here. Can I increase the size? Yes, I can. Sweet. Cool. So, as of last night, you can now access Top Producer X on your mobile device. So I've got my phone in here, showing you guys on my hand. And I can use my Top Producer now on my phone. So anytime you need to access your information, your CRM, it's all at your fingertips. So if you're waiting for your buyer client to arrive when you're at a listing viewing or whatever it is, right? You can go into your Top Producer and look up, all your other new contacts that you need to deal with, right? Or maybe you need to, maybe you want to go to the follow-up coach and see if it's suggesting 5 people for you to contact, right? So your Top Producer X is now on your mobile device. Super exciting. Shout out to our product team and everyone involved to getting this launched. We're really excited about it. It's actually just a soft launch, so we haven't done any announcement yet. So you guys are actually the first people that we're telling about this new new feature, the Top Producer X Mobile. And what's cool about this is you can add it to your home screen, right? So it's just like an app, like a shortcut on your home screen. So if I'm in my Top Producer, I'm actually going to log out and show you guys from this way. Let me just log out here. By the way, it's the same URL. So crm.topproducer.com. So if you guys have your phone right now, let's do it together. Let's add it to our home screen, right? So go to crm.topproducer.com, press enter. Right, you should see the login page if it's your first time. And if don't log in yet. Now that you're here, depending on your phone, so if you're like on an iPhone, the button is going to be like on the bottom right corner, bottom middle here. It looks like a box like with an arrow pointing up. That's called the share button on your phone. I have an Android phone, so it's not going to look like your iPhone, but it should be like at the bottom here. It looks like a box with an arrow pointing up. You're going to click on that, and then you'll get a bunch of menu options. Just swipe up to see all the options on your iPhone, and you're going to choose the option that says add to home screen. So in my phone, on my Android device, it's a little bit different. Instead of that box with the arrow pointing up, you're going to click on the 3 dots here in the top right corner. And then that same option, add to home screen. So if you're on an iPhone, it's going to not look like this, but the option is the same, add to home screen. So you're going to select add to home screen. If you want to rename it, you can go ahead and rename it if you want. Right? Call it TPX if you want. Right? Make it short. And then just click add. And then you might have to hit add again to confirm. And if you go back to your home screen, there it is. So you can get Top Producer X right on your phone. You just tap on that. If you haven't logged in yet, don't worry. You just need to log in once. It'll remember who you are. So let's say I close this for whatever reason, and let's say it's the next day. I want to go back to my Top Producer. I just tap on that app shortcut, and that's it. I'm in my contacts, right? Super easy, and I can see all my tasks, everything I need to do. If I have any overdue, oh, I need to call people, right? So it's all at your fingertips. Yeah, if anyone's trying Top Producer X Mobile right now, let me know. Quick feedback. Let me know if you how do you guys like it so far? But really happy with this. Again, shout out to our product team. This is awesome. Cool. I'm gonna go to the chat now here and answer some questions. Let me just keep this on my screen here so you guys can see the app version while I'm going through some questions. Looks like some of these questions have been answered by Marvin already. You're correct. It is fast, but nice to be able to review. Yep, Jim. My problem is that I have 2,800 contacts. Yeah. Oh wow, 1995. You're awesome, Jim, and thank you. If you're here, that means hopefully you've been using Top Producer since then, or at least most of it, right? Carol, no way. I was looking for one the other day. That's awesome. Yep, mobile, Top Producer X Mobile. Use it, break it. Let us know what you think of it. Hope you enjoy it. Broker since 1975. Wow, crazy. Carol, Marvin just gave you an article on how the relationships works. Yeah, spouse will need to be a separate contact, however. Any other questions? Will this recording be available later? I missed a portion. Yeah, no problem, Anne. So let me actually show you guys where to go. So if you go to youtube.com/Top Producer Software. And you just hit videos there from the menu. We'll upload this as quickly as we can. So give us maybe a couple hours today. If it's not there by today, it'll be up there by tomorrow. Usually it's within hours. We'll plug it in there. So yeah. Anyone else? This is awesome. You can see like all your deals that you're working on your phone when you have Top Producer Mobile on, right? And it's just so convenient that it's there. It's just a shortcut on your phone. Welcome, Anne. Okay, so it looks like we're done with the final questions. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully this was a productive session for you. Again, sign up for more webinars if you would like us to go over anything again. And otherwise, I'm your host, Dan Salcedo. On chat is Marvin LaRosa. Happy weekend. Have a great weekend, and we will see you again next time. Ciao.